What is up, guys? JaretCampisi with the beautiful Christina K. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a first ride and review on my brand new 2023 Ducati Panigale V4S. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. All right, so if you haven't seen my latest video buying a brand new motorcycle, this is the bike that we have purchased. So this is not a personal bike. This is actually a bike for our next build series video, or build series, and we're going to actually customize this bike and give it away. Similar to what we did with this one. So this was our full carbon BMW M1000RR. Don't worry, I will start both of them up for you guys shortly. We just finished that motorcycle, and that one's going to be given away in March, middle to late March. And this is the next one that we're going to be customizing and giving away. So if you guys want to be entered to win these motorcycles and help support projects like these, patreon.com/Campisi Customs is always the first link in the description below. So the all-new 2023 Ducati Panigale V4S. What is special about this bike? Well, it's an iteration, an evolution, so to speak, of the previous Panigale model. So they changed the bodywork, new winglets that are smaller, 40% smaller, but still produce the same amount of downforce as the old ones. We got new bodywork, a lot more gills, which is to help with cooling, and of course it looks cool as well. New gearbox. It's a Superbike, World Superbike derivative gearbox, so longer first gear, different changes to the gearbox to make it better on the track. It has all new electronics. It even has a new dashboard, has a new tank design. You can see that this is a little bit different. It has a new seat, a two-tone red seat. It's supposed to be better for track usage. And it even has a new dashboard, which I'll show you, which is super cool. It's the same size, the 5.5-inch TFT display, but this is one of the new racing dash modes, and you can see how freaking cool that looks. This was derived with the MotoGP riders from the Ducati factory team. They helped design this layout to make it better for track racing, but also looks super cool as well. On your right-hand side, you have all your electronics, and they actually light up when they're being used while you're riding. On the top, you have your RPM gauge going across, and you can even change that to show different things. There's the 16 miles on the dashboard, brand new. Back to that right there. It looks super cool. You got your big ass gear indicator in the front, or in the middle, and it's really, really cool. Speaking of electronics, this is literally it has every electronic in the world. You can see there's traction control mode, there's ABS, wheelie control, slide control. This bike will actually allow you to set how much you want to be able to drift the bike and how much it'll allow you to step out before high siding, so it'll literally keep you from high siding. You've got engine braking control, how much the engine slows you down when you downshift. It has a quick shifter up and down, which means you can actually shift up and down without using the clutch, which is really, really nice. You can see it. It's this module right back in there. It has electronic controlled suspension, and it's the 2 version of this. So this is Olin suspension that they designed alongside of Ducati, and you can actually change not only just the overall stiffness and softness of the bike, but you can change how it feels heading into a curve, what it feels like mid-corner, how it feels coming out of the curve, how much it squats. I mean, the technology on this bike is absolutely ridiculous. So there's what street mode looks like. If you click on over here, you can see you have sport, then you have race B and race A, and you can see right up there, it changes the engine mapping. So that's all out. Race A is all out engine. That's as soon as you twist the throttle, you're getting all of it. This is a medium response. Then you have medium for sport as well, and then a low mode on street. Street is actually detuned to 150 horsepower for when you're riding on the street. We're going to keep it in street mode for today because we only have 16 miles on this bike, and we're going to be breaking this bike in for a few more miles. So it's an absolutely phenomenal motorcycle. There's so much to go over, so much tech on this bike. You can see the beautiful daytime running headlights right there, high beams and low beams. It has a single-sided swing arm. This model comes with a lithium-ion battery, which is actually located directly under this right here. And then it has Marcassini forged aluminum wheels that are lightweight, and it's absolutely stunning. This model comes in at over $30,000. I believe it's $30,695, somewhere around there in the US market, and it's pretty much the pinnacle of super sport motorcycles. They're really made more for the track. This is going to be a perspective from a street rider review, but that's kind of like a brief overview of the motorcycle. It does have Ducati's Desmo Sedici V4 Stradale engine. It's 1103 cc and it makes 215 horsepower. Teens, let's hear how it sounds. All right, so this is stock exhaust. It actually does have cylinder deactivation, so when it's in neutral right now, there's only 2 cylinders on. Look at this woman. All right, there you go. Okay, so it sounds pretty good for a stock exhaust. Obviously, we're going to be changing that. I'm going to go over all the build plans for this bike in a future video, but why don't we hear what a fully customized and completed Campisi Customs project. This was originally Christina's motorcycle. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it low enough for her, so we decided to customize it and give it away. Thanks to Manny from Moto Million for sponsoring this project. And let's hear how it sounds. Oh my God. Wow. So that's a full titanium exhaust. The headers are Aero, and then it has an Acra Shorty muffler GP style exhaust on it. This also has a sprint filter, a Bren stage 2 flash. It has airbox works, it has velocity stacks, and you can hear the difference between a bike that's completely tuned and modified and one that comes from the factory. So don't worry, both of these bikes were previously warmed up, so you don't have to yell at us in the comment section below. But that's about it. I think what I'll do is I'll hop on, I'll do some flybys for you guys so you can hear what this bad boy sounds like, and then I'll take it out for a ride and give you my thoughts and first impressions. Thank you, Teeners. All right, here we go, folks. It's that time to take this bad boy out and do a proper first ride and review. So the first thing I will say is I'm 5'10". I can flat foot most motorcycles. The newer super bikes, for whatever reason, seem like they're a little bit higher. I do believe this one sits a little higher as well. I'm on the balls of my feet. I cannot get completely all the way down unless I just have 1 foot all the way on the ground. It was like that on the BMW as well. So you can see the layout of everything. This does have heated grips, but they're not, I don't think they come heated. Let me see if I can, yeah, see when I turn that on, it's not turning it on in the dash. Something you have to get hooked up. You have to buy different grips to have them heated. There's no cruise control on this like the BMW, but you have all your controls right here. It's very nicely laid out. It comes with full spec Brembo, everything, Olin steering dampener. I mean, it's like I said, it's the pinnacle of motorcycles when it comes to sport bikes. The settings menu, like when you go into the riding mode, when you go into sport mode, you can change all of this stuff. Look at this, high, low, the delivery, all that kind of stuff on here. There's electronic suspension. You can get dynamic, you can fix it, you can modify the suspension. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of stuff you can do. And like I said, you can change all of this stuff. Engine braking control, whether you want less engine braking, more engine braking, or sorry, 3 is minimum. That's weird. I would have put that the opposite, but whatever, it's easily shown there. Quick shifter, I'd imagine you can turn it on and off. I don't know what info mode is. Oh, you can actually change the dash. Oh, that's pretty cool. So if you want it to be that track mode in sport mode, you can actually do that. But there's, I mean, backlight, you got daytime running lights, the talk, the tire calibrations, turn signal indicators. I actually set it to auto, so you don't even have to cancel your turn signals anymore. And then, yeah, I mean, there's literally anything you could ever possibly imagine on this bad boy. It does seem like it takes a bit longer to turn over and fire up. And you can see just 2 cylinders right now. And when I put this in the gear, watch, everything turns on. Pretty freaking awesome. I'm just gonna probably leave it in sport mode today. Since street is detuned, I think sport would be a better way to do the first ride and official review on this bad boy. I'm gonna get out away from my house, and then I'll give you my thoughts and feelings on this bad boy. All right, so here we are, brand new 2023 Ducati Panigale, a V4S. So like I mentioned, there's been a lot of iterations of Panigales. I've owned every single one since the 1199, the 959, the 1299, the first version of the V4 Panigale, Panigale V4 SP. I've had Street Fighters that also share this engine. So I feel like I've had a lot of experience with Ducatis in general, and all of my reviews are coming from a standpoint of somebody who is a motorcycle enthusiast, loves motorcycles, and mainly rides on the street. So for track reviews and all that kind of stuff, go somewhere else for that. I don't really do a lot of track riding on here. So this is all from the street. So first thing I want to say is there's main things I want to address when it comes to these first rides is, I mean, it's still a Panigale, so it's going to be very similar to how the old Panigales were. For example, the mirrors are next to useless because they vibrate so much you can barely see what's behind you anyway. I can see that there's a car behind me. What type of car that is, no idea. So that's one thing that's not going to change. Like I said, it has every rider mode and rider aid known to man, so that's really cool. The main things I'm concerned with is how is the iteration of this bike. Just going from the 2018 Panigale to the 2021 V4 SP I had, they're basically making them smoother and easier to ride, while obviously still maintaining that Ducati characteristic character or cachet. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It used to be quite a bit of compromise when you bought a Ducati, because they were gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, but they were expensive and they were uncomfortable and they weren't easy to ride, especially when they were in the V-twin variations. So now with all this technology, and especially with the V4 engine, they've gotten much smoother and much easier to ride. So I mean, yeah, the quick shifter is super smooth going up and down. Now I will say this bike is not as smooth or as easy to ride as our BMW is, the M1000RR that we have. That bike is so easy to ride, it's a joke. Now sometimes people don't like that because they say it kind of lacks character, and I can totally understand that. People buy those bikes and they get bored with them, whereas a bike like this, that, you know, the engine rumbles a little bit more, there's a little bit more jerkiness, you get a little bit of heat, you know, it has some character, you know, like it keeps you around, it keeps you interested, right? And that's kind of what the Ducatis are all about, and that's what's always drawn me to the Ducatis, the fact that this is an Italian exotic motorcycle, you know, like a Lamborghini, like a Ferrari, like that's super cool. You don't see a lot of them, you know, and that's what really makes me that's what made me fall in love with Ducati. So one thing I just noticed right there, I don't know if you guys noticed, the on-off throttle, even in street mode, is still kind of abrupt, and I'm pretty low in the RPMs. Like it's kind of impossible to be smooth about getting back on the throttle. It just wants to jerk you around a little bit there. That's a little bit odd. The tuning things, when it comes to these bikes, because of the factory is getting so limited with what they can do with the sound and the fueling regulations and all that because of Euro 5. There's a Supra behind me. That's pretty sick. I think that's going to kind of restrict and regulate not only the sound but the fueling and the types of maps they can put on these bikes. And it might maybe just be the nature of trying to detune a 215 horsepower motorcycle to street mode, which is 150 horsepower. So there's a motorcycle. What's up, buddy? So let me actually toss this in. Oh shoot, no, I don't want to do that. Let me toss this in. Ah, damn it. Let's put it in sport mode. I should just have to go off the throttle, hold it down. Okay, perfect. Let me see how it is in sport mode. Jesus. So I got to be careful because this bike has 20 miles on it. Everything is still braking in. I'm going to do a whole entire video on how I brake in motorcycles and all that, but I can't be really ripping around turns and stuff on this thing because the wheel's not scrubbed in yet, the tires I should say, so I got to be really careful. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I mean, the power this is one of the most powerful super sport motorcycles that you can buy. It's absurdly powerful. It redlines at almost 16,000 RPMs, like for street use, you're gonna have to be double or triple the speed limit to even get anywhere close to those RPMs. But the cool thing about the V4S model in particular, this one, is it has that bigger, higher capacity engine, that 1103cc. And the reason why they did that is because it gives you more power and torque down low, which makes it a better bike for the street. That's why we have never really done a V4R on our build series, because that's really more, that's basically a track bike that they built for the street so they could go racing. And that engine is cool in its own right, but I personally prefer the 1103cc variant for street riding. I still do feel that on and off throttle in sport mode, but it actually does seem a little better than it did in street mode, so that's interesting. I was mentioning in the video where I picked this bike up, I'm used to riding that BMW M1000RR, which is 390 pounds, it's full carbon, and the back and forth on this is actually pretty damn close to how that BMW feels, which is crazy because I bet you this bike is 40 pounds or more than the BMW is right now. So the fact that they're able to use the geometry and the counter-rotating crankshaft and all the technology that they have implemented in this bike to make it feel this light is really remarkable. GoPro, stop recording. So yeah, initial impressions, I was curious to see how the heat feels on this motorcycle. So as I mentioned when I was filming earlier, they changed the design of this bike, in particular the gills and the lower areas of the bike. That's to help with heat extraction. So right now I have my heat gauge up here. It doesn't tell me a temperature, it's just bars. So it's 2 out of 5. So that's you know, not much heat at all. I do feel a tiny bit of heat, but it's nothing that you don't feel on any other liter bike, 1000cc motorcycle. They also had the fans kick on earlier to start cooling down the bike sooner, which I think is a great idea. I think they should have done that a long time ago. But so far, now it's only 70 degrees here today, so it is, you know, it's not super hot. So far I'm not getting any heat at all, and I've been kind of riding, I haven't been like riding constantly. I'm stopping at stop signs and everything like that, so that's good. Hopefully that's an improvement on the heat area. That was one of my big issues with this bike, because it just takes away from the fun factor of riding it whenever you're just getting your ass and balls cooked, you know. So the brakes on this bike, my god, the power and handling and braking on this bike, it is just absolutely ridiculous. And that's, like I said, that's coming off a full carbon BMW. Like those brakes, they're not even bedded in yet, and they feel phenomenal. And that's something that Ducati has always done a great job with. Brembo brakes, they're Stylema calipers, it's a Brembo Master, and they also have full Öhlins electronics, Öhlins steering stabilizer. So although this bike is super expensive at $30,000, which is, I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous how much bikes cost these days. I mean, it's all the high-end kit you could imagine, from the forged wheels to everything else I just mentioned, all the electronics, and the fact that it's a Ducati. I mean, you're getting what you pay for. It's not just about looks anymore. And the thing is with Ducatis, their dealer network is phenomenal. Getting parts is almost everything can be overnighted now from Italy. Ever since they're under the Audi umbrella ship, they're technically owned by Lamborghini, but Lamborghini is also owned by Audi. They just become easier to work on, easier to ride, and easier to get parts. And I think that it's just been a beautiful relationship. And last year Ducati sold more motorcycles than they ever have in the history of the brand, coming in at over 60,000 bikes. And that's a testament to everything that I'm talking about right here. I mean, the bike feels phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I love the cylinder deactivation right there. As soon as you go into neutral, it pops them off, and then when I put it back in gear, you can hear it turn back on again. I mean, it really is a special machine. So I mean, that's really all I wanted to give you guys. My first impressions, give you some of the statistics. How does the bike feel? I can't really rip it around turns right now, but you know, we'll be doing more comprehensive riding videos and stuff like that in the future, especially when we're trying out parts and things like that on the bike. So yeah, I mean, I would say I would say that this and the BMW are the pinnacle of super bikes right now, especially when it comes to on the road. I think on the road riding, the BMW still gets the edge because of the creature comforts and how easy it is to ride, having the cruise control and the heated grips straight from the factory. But when it comes to like, what bike do you want to like feel special on and be seen, and people like looking at you and like getting a lot of attention, I mean, this is the bike right here. Can't go wrong with the Panigale. I mean, it is the pinnacle of Italian exotic motorcycles, and for that reason it's always going to be a special place in my heart and one of my favorite motorcycles to ever exist. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the first ride and review. I hope you're excited. We are going to be customizing this bike and giving it away. We're going to be doing my version of a Lamborghini Ducati collaboration with this bike, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you the designs that we came up with and what we have planned for this bike, and I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. So if you want us to help support this project, be entered to win this motorcycle, patreon.com/Campisi Customs. It's always the first link in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a big old juicy thumbs up, subscribe for more, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.